100%?
Yeah, let's get after it.
Okay. Welcome to episode number 8 of the Benchwarmers Perspective. I'm here today with Zachary Zweigle, the one of the CatchMark SportsNet OGs.
That's true.
As you might call him.
That's very true.
What did you do when you were here?
Oh, man.
If I remember, it was like sit in your office and
Hang out a little bit.
Yeah, and kind of joke around.
It was kind of a crazy like start. So when I started here at CatchMark, I was helping out with some live streaming stuff. That was the original deal, and then it kind of funneled into a media specialist position that helped launch CatchMark SportsNet, which is what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
So it was Scott DeCamp and I,
and Billy.
and Billy Mann,
Yeah.
worked together to kind of create this, create what you have today, which is kind of cool, you know. And there's been a lot of work on it since then. I'm not discrediting anybody's work, you know. But from the beginning, you know, from the ground up, it was interesting. I'd never done anything like that before, so and to see it still standing and obviously thriving is awesome.
Yeah. So you've since Sportsnet, what have you kind of gone on to do since you left us?
Yeah, so
abandoned us here.
Yeah, for sure. I think that everybody that has worked at CatchMark and everybody that will work at CatchMark, you grow to love and appreciate what goes on here. Brent Rath is the CEO and managing partner, and he plays a huge role in the environment that's created here. Obviously, he's Connor's father, so he knows him very well. And I think that anybody that's left here would really, really appreciate everything that they learned from here and the relationships that are made. And I definitely feel that way. And I know that other people that have come and left feel the exact same way as well. But since then, I have a pretty significant passion for education and for students. I coach bowling and baseball at Whitehall High School, and I also work in the media center and in the tech department. I really do love what I do, and I love that I can get to spend my days with kids of the technology side of things, which obviously coincides with what you guys do here. At least a little bit. Has been a little bit of a learning experience. A lot of knowledge that I gained here, I utilize on a day-to-day basis. I enjoy that thoroughly, and it's kind of the best of both worlds. So I'm super happy where I'm at right now. Yeah.
So we'll get to the tech piece in a little bit.
Sure.
But you mentioned bowling.
Yeah.
How did you get in? You don't seem to me like you'd throw the lanes.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, my technical knowledge of a sport like bowling was very minimal.
Yeah.
I consider myself a decent bowler, but just because you're decent at something doesn't mean that you know the ins and outs or that you could coach somebody. I do think that coaching a sport in general is a lot about effort, understanding student athletes, and your willingness to learn and grow from people around you. Like, if you look around in our communities here in West Michigan, there's people that are knowledgeable, beyond belief about anything. Right? Like any sport, you can really learn from people. And I took the bowling job. I had a decent relationship with their head coach, Tyson Jaspers, and he was kind of looking for an assistant. Girls and boys bowling takes place at the same time. Yeah. So it's kind of like you need two coaches, and his knowledge is obviously a lot greater than mine. Yeah. And he kind of took me under his wing, and I've learned a lot. I've never coached girls in a sport. That's been super interesting. They're very different, but I've enjoyed that a ton as well. I spent a lot of time with both the boys and the girls last year, and I'm really looking forward to this year as well. Yeah.
Quick break from the action to thank our sponsor. Meraki Performance is a leader in performance coaching. Whether you're looking to motivate your business or your athletic team, Meraki Performance can help. Check them out at merakiperform.com. How good of a bowler are you? What do you shoot?
I mean, I'm decent. Like anywhere from like 150 to 250. It just kind of depends on the day. I've learned a lot since starting to coach, so I would say that I've improved greatly, but it's kind of like golf, right? Like, it's really hard to be consistently good. You have great days and you have bad days, kind of thing. Yeah. But my technical knowledge has definitely gone through the roof. Some of it on my own, through my own research, some of it through, like I just said, learning from people that have been around a long time. There's, you run into old guys that are veterans at the bowling alley that are always willing to help kids and help you, and other coaches. And Tyson, like I said, has been definitely the biggest piece of this.
So we'll get to baseball now. So baseball is obviously the bigger sport out of the two that you coach.
Yeah. Yep.
What's that been like? I know you've kind of grown up in the program or grew up in the program, and your dad coached and all that. How's that like?
Yeah, I mean, I baseball is definitely my longtime passion or love, if you will. My dad still is technically the head coach at Whitehall. He's coached here for almost 30 years, and being able to coach with him the last 5 or 6 years has been an awesome experience. I'm very thankful. I think that you can kind of relate to this in regard to working with your own dad, right? The older you get, the more you appreciate it, and to be able to learn from him and appreciate the game like he does has definitely been a blessing to me. I really enjoy that. My technical knowledge is obviously a lot greater in baseball, but it's just like anything else. Sports change over time, things change, and you never really stop learning or developing new strategies. I love the game. I think baseball is one of those sports where you have a little bit more downtime. So you really get to know kids. And it's just something that I look forward to. And we ended up winning a district championship last year with the first group that I kind of went through with Kyle Stratton, Ryan Christensen, Isaac Van Amberg, so on and so forth. And it was just a phenomenal experience. If anything, last year solidified the fact that I want to be involved with baseball moving forward, and I really hope to take over that program someday.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So you mentioned tech support. That's something that you do at the school now. Well, the Zach I remember was not much of a tech support guru.
I mean, my technical knowledge, like for sure, I think that we talk about this all the time, but my technical knowledge in the technology industry, if you will, is very limited. Now, I understand overarching concepts, right? Like what AD does and like how networks are managed. And that's the stuff that's important in my mind.
No, it is.
Because all that other stuff can be learned, right? So on a day-to-day basis, I do a lot of physical technical work, which involves like repairing Chromebooks and replacing, hardware in classrooms and just diagnosing problems. There's a lot of things where I have to look to my tech director, Patrick, a huge shout out to him. The dude's a genius and has so many things that fall under his plate, because you work in this industry, but there's so many different pieces of the tech world, right? We're talking door strikes, we're talking cameras, we're talking smart boards, we're talking, it's just never ending, right? It's not just computers that you're talking about. We're managing a huge network with, 2,000 endpoints, all our homeschool kids, the community ed building, the entire district. It really is a lot of work. And I continue to learn on a daily basis. So I'm thankful for that. I really do enjoy that piece of it. And I also get the interaction with students and teachers and the community in general. So I do love it.
Yeah, something a lot of people, if you know me from the SportsNet world or you know me prior to that, for more than maybe just saying, oh, I've heard of that guy. I did tech support for almost 5 years prior to this at CatchMark Technologies. We have our tech support wing that is a managed service provider, and it's a different world.
It definitely is.
It's much different. When you say 2,000 endpoints, I think personally, like with the customers I specifically managed for a while, I was only at maybe 300 or 400 myself.
Yeah, but the kicker is, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but that you're managing completely different environments, right? The thing with schools is that they're all in the same network. They're all in the same environment.
So for it'd be almost like with a managed service provider, you're looking at, they might have door strikes, they might have a camera system.
Right.
They don't have to though.
Right.
With the school, there's a lot bigger regulations and stuff.
And so there's a lot of things that are gray area too. Like, does it fall under maintenance or does it fall under? We outsource a lot of things. Right. Like we run cable if we have to run one cable across the classroom kind of thing. But we're not running like your connectivity team would do in the past, right? We're not running like hundreds of.
You're not running it across the school for an entire camera system, pulling 15, 16 lines to half the building.
Exactly. So there's also that piece of it that I want to make clear. Like we don't do every single thing. There is some things that the ISD manages. There's some things that we contract out, right? And that's kind of the way it works because you can't afford to pay 15 people to work in the tech department.
Let's take another moment to thank our sponsor, Shoreline Restoration and Construction. Did a storm recently hit your business, home, or other building? Then Shoreline Restoration and Construction can help. They are a leader in remodels, new construction, and much, much more. They also restore water-damaged buildings, flooded basement, and so much more. So, like, looking at that support side, when I did it, for me, it was a lot of, server management, patching, maintenance. What is that like in a school? I've never worked directly with a school as an MSP, but from like a technical standpoint, things are a lot different. For us, we always use Unify as the kind of the main directory of routers and switching and stuff we use. Like for school, that's different. How much different is that than, tech support for somebody like an MSP?
I mean, like I said, the main difference for me between an MSP and like a district or a single large business, if you will, is that they're all in the same environment. So you're utilizing the same hardware. It's like everything's managed on the same central point. Like it's 10 times easier in some regard. I will tell you, with that many users you have, and this from your own experience,
2,000 users is not a small amount.
I would say that, and probably for an MSP too, 80% of tickets that come in are very simple for you to fix, but require either you to visit or you to have a phone conversation, or it's power cycling, or it's replacing a cable, or it's hardware that needs to be replaced, or it's a group like a different group
GPO
policy.
or something.
Yes, exactly. Like it depends on. But most of the issues are simple fixes. It just requires you to take some action, right?
Yeah.
We also use a lot of educational hardware and software, right?
Yeah. G Suite's much different than like
Microsoft.
It's almost, and then sometimes I know Montague is hybrid. They have some G Suite, then they have some perpetual, licenses.
Us as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like all of our teachers have, all the staff have, an office account.
Yeah.
But we use G Suite for all of our students, right? So the Google Admin Console, and
hate that thing.
It is. It's frustrating.
I absolutely hate G Suite.
And you're coming from a standpoint of, using something different. It's like I said, it's all the same, which is nice, but there's a lot of things that are pieced together. So I don't know. It's definitely been an interesting learning curve. I can't emphasize enough how many, and you understand this, how many different things fall under that umbrella, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, like this morning we were at the VAC setting up TV connectivity or HDMI connectivity for people that want to present in the conference room at the VAC, right? Like I just told you, door strikes, cameras, endpoints, smart boards. I mean, like it's just never ending. There's so many things that fall under that umbrella.
It's it's a big change when you're coming from not doing it a ton, and it's one of those things that once you get into it, you can't really ever leave in a way.
Right.
Like once you're in the tech and you use it, it starts to kind of evolve into you're using it every day. And now at home, like for me, at home, I have, because I did this for 5-6 years, I have a business grade, like expensive router because I wanted to test with it. I wanted to mess with it. And because you want to find ways to make it more efficient.
And to be fair, prior to this position, I still had a passion for tech. Now my technical knowledge was, is very limited. Again, I understand overarching themes. It's just some of the technical stuff and the networking, but I've always had a passion. So I do, I do appreciate that stuff.
Dabble.
Exactly.
A little spice.
For sure. Yeah.
So outside of, kind of the tech support and the coaching, what else do you kind of do outside of that?
I mean, I bought my first home back in March with my girlfriend Megan, and that's been a huge learning
minivan
experience. That's right. It's been a huge learning experience for for me, just owning your own home for the first time.
Yeah, I'm about to buy my own in a few months.
There you go. So you understand. You'll understand if you don't already. So that's been a lot of work, but it's also been fun.
Yeah.
I mean that's the majority of where my time goes, between school and tech and coaching sports, and I work games too in the fall. Like I don't coach anything in the fall, but I game manage for a couple different events a week. I'm pretty busy.
Yeah.
So that, spending time with family and friends. I'm a big hiker. I took a trip to Canada this summer.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I stay pretty busy for sure.
Yeah. So what was it like going to Canada?
I mean, it was,
land up north.
Yeah, right. I would compare, we went to Banff, which is a super, popular national park in Canada.
Yep.
I would compare it to Glacier in the United States, which is in Montana. They're kind of in that same line. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's something that I enjoy. I got to do it with Megan this year, which was awesome. and something that I try to do every year. You
Yeah.
know? But I always got things planned.
Where's the next destination?
Yeah, you know.
Like, where are you going next?
So I've gone with my dad for the last, I don't know, it's been a long time. We go every year, and I think, I think that we're gonna start winding down on taking national park trips because I've visited so
you're
many
running out of them
together. That too, and there's some that I don't know if they would be worth it. It's so hard to get to some of them.
Yeah,
right. You have to plan a week just to be able to drive there. So we're gonna start trying to see all the baseball stadiums. It's something that he's always wanted to do before. Before he. He's too old to do anything, and it's something that I obviously love to do as well. So I think we're gonna try to do that. I'm sure that I'll have a national park visit in there somewhere.
You might want to go to Oakland first.
Yeah, right. It's a
what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's one of those things where I don't it is what it is. I mean, it's gonna be gone, right?
Yeah.
So
they're moving it to where are they moving it to? Is it San Fran?
I do believe.
At this moment, we would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Park Place Sports. Want to support your local athletics program? Look no further than Park Place Sports. As a leader in banner and sponsorship program for athletes, they provide top-notch services to help your team shine. Visit their Facebook page, Park Place Sports, LLC, and see how they can elevate your athletic program today. Park Place Sports, your partner in athletic excellence.
It might be Vegas.
It might be Vegas. I can't, but I do know they're moving, and I think that's happened it's happened with a number of sports teams across the board, right? I mean, you can't if it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
You can't control it. There's nothing you can do. But we'll just go to wherever the team's playing it at the time.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of cool to say that you visit every stadium that's on the circuit,
So where all have you gone? I know you guys went to the Grand Canyon.
No, I've been to I wish I have a water bottle that has all the stickers on it, but I've been to 20. There's some that are small or kind of so far out of the way that aren't super impressive that you might not have heard of, like Kings Canyon National Park, for example. But I've been to a ton. Glacier, I'll just list the big ones because number one, I probably can remember them all. Number two, some of them you probably never heard of. Yosemite, Glacier, Yellowstone.
Yellowstone was sweet.
Zion. Let me see another super popular one. The Grand Canyon, Death Valley, the Badlands. I mean, I could keep there's just a ton of them. Sequoia. There's I've seen the Redwoods. There's just so many places to go. It really is something that you should check out if you can in your lifetime.
There's a cool golf course in the Redwoods in California that it's only a 9-hole course, and I saw it on what's the YouTube channel? Scratch Golf, I think is what it is. And he goes around and he plays these weird, he played street golf. I don't remember where that was at, but it was in
interesting.
It's somewhere south. And then he played on these secluded islands that were you hit your ball from island to island basically. But one of them he played at was in the Redwoods, and it was the whole course is surrounded by redwood trees.
I can't even imagine.
And it was designed by it's
some big name,
a huge name. I'm pretty sure it was the guy who designed Augusta. I cannot remember his.
That's crazy, dude.
I'm gonna look this up because I'm curious now. Who is that?
Is it the Pixel Fold?
Oh yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
That's funny. I was just reading an article.
You're doing
about that
tech work.
night.
This thing is awesome for tech work.
Is it?
And possibly even better for sports.
Dude, I get sketched out about folding phones, dude. I can't deal with it. Also, I have a hard time going away from the iPhone.
Alistair McKenzie. That's who it is.
Okay. Yeah.
He designed it. Super famous. I mean, he designed Augusta and all those.
Yeah. All those giants. That's crazy, though. I didn't even know there was a golf.
Yeah, it's 9 holes. It's so cool. It's a 30-minute video on you're playing, and when you play, you're just playing in the middle of the redwoods. So every hole is secluded, and it's only 9 holes. So if you want to play 18, you got to play it twice.
Right.
And yeah, it was super cool. I want to go there at some point.
Interesting.
It's in
That is
Cali.
cool. I'm sure it's expensive.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. It's super small, super small club.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't anything huge.
Huh.
Speaking of the Fold, you know what it's awesome for? Interviews. Doing interviews, because I can go like this and I can open it up, and on the bottom half of the inside screen I can have my questions that I'm going to ask.
yeah, I can see
and then I
that.
could have my camera up on
you
the
can
top
record
end,
it.
and I can
Yeah.
record it.
That's sweet.
Awesome. Like a little
It
prompt.
definitely is like it's appealing. Like I would love to try one out. I just the folding part sketches me out. But
You know,
people
it
say it's
sketched
pretty
me out
secure.
at first too. What I found is that as long as you're not like dunking it in water
Yeah.
and you're not throwing it against a brick wall,
Yeah.
you're probably fine. If you take care of your phone, like somebody should take care of
For
the
sure.
phone, you're fine. The hinge, I've not had any dead pixels or any issues with the hinge.
That's what I worry about.
I will never understand the flips, like the ones that are like this style and then they flip down.
Yeah.
Never understood them.
Yeah.
And never will,
Interesting.
because like
Yeah.
in my
it creates
opinion,
a
what's
square, right?
you minimize your screen space, right? Like with this, I'm opening to a bigger screen space to be able to see things
like a
better.
tablet.
Yeah. With that, how am I giving myself more?
Yeah. No, I don't.
You know what I mean? Like
you
how
don't have to justify it to me. I understand what you're saying. For
Yeah.
Sure. Interesting.
I would recommend the full. It's great for if you're like for me as an MSP, you probably don't do this as much, but like I'd be on site at another customer and then be like, oh crap, I gotta, this person's got a ticket that they just put in, it's emergency. I got to remote a device. A lot of our remote tools are available as applications
Sure, yeah.
on a phone, and I can go in and I can say, okay, I can remote it on my phone. Awesome for it. Gives me the full resolution of the thing. I don't got to zoom in ever. I don't
That
gotta,
is
like
sweet.
it just awesome for that. It's awesome for like when I used to do tech support for mainly like before I transitioned away from, the MSP side of things, I was doing some support for dairies.
Yeah.
And you're on site at those dairies a lot just because there's not a lot of times a point of contact always that you
Yeah.
can just get a hold of to have him go do things.
Sure.
And while I was kind of remoting into devices, the split screen. Like
I could see that.
I could have, a config thing up on the left and have the password.
At this moment, we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Chris Wank, Century 21 First Class Realty. Looking to sell or purchase a new home? Or perhaps invest in a plot of land? Chris Wank with Century 21 First Class Realty is your go-to expert. As a leader in West Michigan real estate, Chris brings unparalleled knowledge and dedication to every transaction. Don't wait. Call Chris Wank today at 616-414-5420 and take the first step towards your real estate dreams. Century 21 First Class Realty, your trusted partner in West Michigan property.
Up on the right and just kind of split it to make it easier.
That is sweet.
It's honestly probably my favorite phone ever.
That's crazy.
And they're expensive. Like it's really tempting to get the Pro 9 Fold from Pixel because it's like a full.
That's not the 9. Is that the 8?
This is just the first one. This
Really?
is Pro.
So
this is the first. It's just Pixel Fold. The new one is the Pixel Fold Pro 9 or Pixel.
I saw they came
Pro
out. They came
Fold
out with
9.
another line in like August or something.
Yeah, and it's bigger, so considerably bigger. So it's more like your size iPhone.
How long have you had that?
I have had this for a little under a year.
Okay, so that's quite a while though.
I got it in. I've had it about 9 months,
Interesting.
and I've not had any issues with it at all. I had a giant bulky case when I first bought it that made it look like a DS,
Right.
like a Nintendo DS.
Yeah,
It's huge.
for sure.
And then I got this one, which the reason I got that big bulky case is it had hinge protection, and the hinge protection was something I was worried about.
Yeah.
Like I didn't, because if you drop it, this is one of the weak points.
Right.
Is don't drop it right on the
Do you have
hinge.
insurance on it?
No, I don't. Well, I might. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't. I
just plan on
wanna
not
take my
breaking it,
iPhone out of the
so-
case, bro. Just want to take my iPhone out of the
So
case.
it surprised me as a tech support guy, you haven't transitioned away from Apple.
I will tell you that, like, for work purposes, it would be a lot easier to have a different device. But I just have a soft spot for Apple, dude. I love the quality of their
can't.
products. I think it's awesome.
I agree. I think the quality is there,
Yeah.
but I can sideload an app on my Pixel.
No, I get the functionality is
I can run emulators on my Pixel.
for sure. I totally get that the functionality is not only more efficient for working in most managed, systems. Two, I definitely understand that, like, just the capacity of what you can do on the device is through the
So
roof,
one of the things, like for dairies, we would install an app, and you wouldn't be able to do that on an iPhone,
right?
Because you can't sideload the app. You have to
Yep.
sideload.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I totally get that.
I just surprised me as a tech guy. Now, I mean, like you're a certified tech guy.
I will tell you that I don't use my phone for work a ton. Like,
Yeah, see, I was the
have to.
opposite.
That's
I'd
kind
go
of
on site and I'd rather use my
that's the
phone than
difference.
my
And-
laptop, because laptops, they're cool, but you got to pull them out, you got to log in.
Yeah.
But with my phone, all I got to do is just right here, pull out my pocket.
And I
open
just
it up.
carry, I can carry a laptop from building to building, but it's all in the same environment. So
Yeah.
I can sign in to the domain anywhere. Right?
That's true. I guess it would be a lot different if you were, in a single, like if you're doing support for basically a single entity,
Right.
in a way.
Exactly. It is too.
Yeah. Sorry for anybody who's watching and had to listen to tech
the
support
sports
stuff.
is just not. It just has not been the.
Yeah.
Not been the. So
Yeah,
let's
that's
talk about real quick, because we got a little time still.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. I'm curious about what your thoughts are on the conference in regard to football.
It surprised me. Whitehall is obviously good. I mean, there was. I think a lot of people thought that, but they didn't look as good as I thought they would be.
Interesting.
I think they losing Kyle, losing Kamar.
Yeah.
A lot of big bodies hurt a little bit. I mean, they're still great. Like, don't get me wrong.
They sure
Love
are.
to watch them. Cam, by far the best scrambler out of the pocket that I've seen in a long time.
He's impressive. He's an impressive.
I mean,
athlete.
like, he made possibly the best throw I've ever seen at the Whitehall Montague game, scrambling back 50 yards and then throwing it over his right shoulder, running to the right
yeah, he's
to
freak
Hunter
athlete,
Osborne in
Yeah.
the back left corner of the end zone. It was crazy. But like teams like Montague, I expected to be a little bit better, and they've Whitehall Montague was kind of, in my opinion, it was 70-30. Like if Montague wins that one,
Yep.
but I expect them to beat Ludington. Apparently, I haven't even gotten to a Ludington game. From what I've heard, they are they don't play Whitehall for a little bit, I don't think.
No, it's not till
Yeah.
it's a few weeks down the road.
But from what I've heard, they could give fits to Whitehall.
Interesting. I don't agree, but interesting. I'm a little bit of a homer too, right?
Yeah.
In my own right. I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen Ludington.
MCC in the Rivers might give some fits.
I could see that.
They beat Ludington.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I saw that. I definitely think they're probably the under in both ends of the conference, or both branches of the conference, if you will. I definitely would say that they have been, the underdog that nobody really thought was going to have the skill and the talent and the drive that they do right now. So that's kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
I don't get I mean, I work all home Whitehall games, and the Fridays that I have off, I typically just watch them from NFHS and at home or whatever.
I haven't seen anything from Ludington yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, neither have I.
From what I've heard, they
haven't.
could give fits to. I mean, for the first half, Montague gave Whitehall some fits. I think what happened was Montague kind of ran out of gas.
Yeah.
And Whitehall's just got a big team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not just a big team, but that first and second string are solid.
Yeah,
Montague struggles with depth.
I would never overlook any opponent. I don't think that's a smart idea.
Yeah.
But I definitely am confident in
Like, had it
Whitehall's
not been
ability.
for a crazy pass over, like, that was top 5 plays of the year,
Yep.
that game's 7-7 going into the second half, right?
You definitely can sit there and say, what if to a lot of like what if.
Well,
this,
I don't
what
even
if
think that one's a what if. Like, that's
You're saying it was a momentum change.
Yeah.
And I do agree with
like going into that second half, 7-7 is a big difference between 14.
I agree.
Especially when it's a last second play that, like,
For
you're
sure.
like,
I view things more like I try to view them more objectively in regard to player per player, team per team, like who has the better football team. And
I think
that
Whitehall
game-
has the best football team.
absolutely.
By far.
I don't even think it's close to me.
No, I don't either.
And I'm not. I respect all these.
Yeah,
all
I
these
think,
other schools.
I think across the board, you look at, like, comparing player to player.
Right.
Like, Cam's better than this guy and this guy.
now
and
that
then,
doesn't mean that other teams can't win.
No,
That's
no.
not what I'm saying.
It just means that, like, per athlete, I think, like, you're right. Like, you're looking at Whitehall's just got the best overall. They win the matchups, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like going into a basketball game, I guess, and point guard to point guard, they might have the best point guard in the league,
Right.
And then you've got 4 solid guys around him.
Yeah.
You got a whole other team that you got to play still.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to. That point guard still has to perform
For sure.
right?
And there's so many, and especially in high school sports, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
There's so many factors that contribute to, how high school athletes perform, right?
Yeah.
Did they break up with their girlfriend the day before the game? Is the crowd, is somebody yelling something in the crowd that's getting under their skin?
Yeah.
Is, whatever, this, that, and the other thing. High school sports are unpredictable. That's part of what makes it so cool, right?
Yeah.
So fun. But I, like I said, I'm a little homer. I mean, I am. I think everybody probably is in some way. But I try to be fairly objective, and I just think that Whitehall looked like a better football team.
Yeah, I'm curious that Whitehall Lexington game. I'm curious.
Me too.
What way that goes, just because they're both solid squads from what I've seen or what I've heard. And I think, definitely Oak Ridge is another team that I'm kind of surprised. I thought they'd be.
Never know.
I thought they were going to perform pretty well. I mean, they're still a good team, still a solid squad.
Yep.
Thought they would perform. Win a few more games that they ended up losing.
Sure.
But it's been fun to watch. Tell you that.
Like I said, that's the beauty of high school sports.
Going into that Whitehall Unity Christian game, I thought that would be a little bit closer than it was.
For sure, I could see that.
And that was one that I think was kind of a reset for Whitehall. Yeah. Like going into that, they're kind of expecting to win. They've won the last few times, and then going into that one, they're like, oh, yeah, we got to kind of
absolutely
kind of.
I definitely give credit to like Unity and Zealand.
Yeah,
if you look at the rankings, like these are some of the top teams in the state.
Whitehall too that would be what I said. They've probably got the toughest schedule out of any opponent in the conference.
Yeah, I don't really think it's that close.
Yeah,
and that regard,
Zealand West killed Muskegon
for sure.
I mean, there wasn't even close with Muskegon,
right?
And then Unity Christian, solid squad every year.
Yeah,
and then I mean.
They're powerhouses, dude.
Yeah, and then going even more south, Muskegon is another team that good team playing really tough schedule.
Absolutely.
The team that's actually surprised me the most this year is Mona Shores.
For sure. I think a lot of people would say like, hey, that's
kind of came out of nowhere.
They've won some close games, like
Byron Center is a huge one.
Absolutely.
They beat. I mean, the Muskegon Mona Shores game. It was close for a while there. It was close even at the end. It just didn't end up, paying out.
Absolutely. I literally totally agree with you.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Good luck to your bowling season coming up here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And good luck doing some tech support.
Yeah, dude. Maybe I'll call you if I need some help.
You call me, I'm gonna charge you $50 every hour.
See, this is how it works. These MSPs, they nickel and dime you for every.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
No, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I always love talking sports with you guys. I want to give a shout out to Miles, Connor's bookie, if you will, because
is that right?
He's just got a.
He's at a conference. He's at a tournament for tennis.
Yeah, he's at a tennis tournament today. I'd love to do this again with Mr. Miles sitting right across from me because I like to give that guy the business. Yeah. For those of you guys that don't know, he plays baseball for us. So
he's been doing good work for us. Excited where he's going to go. If you haven't yet, go and check out some of his articles. He does a great job writing.
Absolutely.
He's been doing the game previews for our game of the week in a sense.
Yeah.
This week, like last week was Mona Shores Muskegon. The week before was Montague Whitehall. This week it's Montague North Muskegon.
Yeah, which is a good one.
So just he's been doing some of that. Check that out if you can. And we appreciate everybody watching and have a nice night.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks.